Bro, I performed stand-up 52 times this year. I still have so much to learn. Why is my most viewed video on TikTok from my very first stand-up performance ever? It boggles the mind. Hi, I'm Nicole, a comedian who is currently creatively constipated. I'm uploading a video on YouTube almost every day of December until I'm no longer creatively constipated. I thought I could do a fun little video talking about my stand-up comedy journey, what I've learned so far, and what I want to focus on next year. I'm also 3 days behind schedule. I'm doing my best to make this fucking quick. I'm a talker. We'll see. In August 2022, I started doing an improv class, and then I think in May 2023, I started taking a stand-up comedy class for women. I was taught by a local comedian, very funny lady, who moved from producing comedy shows to producing corporate events. She's brilliant. I adore her. Over 6 weeks, a group of us wrote our first 10-minute stand-up sets, and it was really comforting to take this class with a group of other nervous, funny women, because, like a supportive and loving environment to learn and grow as comedians. Around 30% of stand-up comedians are women, so it can feel really isolating going to open mics by yourself, because 99% of the time the other comics are doing bits about how stupid women are, and that's always fun to hear. I performed my very first stand-up set in June 2023, and that year I did about 10 other performances after that, mostly like open mic feature spots or just like signing up for open mics. And in 2024, I did about 19 performances. It was a mix of like open mic feature spots, festivals, showcases, and competitions too. And then this year, I did 52 stand-up performances. Yes, basically one performance per week, on top of work, on top of improv, on top of wedding planning, on top of sometimes sleeping and sometimes doing laundry. Okay, so I thought I might go over some wins that I feel like I had this year. So number one, got to perform at 2 major comedy clubs in Charlotte. I got to do the Comedy Zone, and I got to do the comedy club at Duckworth's. Duckworth's is a newer club in town, and they have been packing the house with great comics from all over the place every weekend. They've even started letting me in to do a little bit of improv during the week, which has been pretty sweet. So I would say that that's a major win. Number two, I got to host for a few big names. I had binged Deli Boys in like one day this year, and then I got the call to host for Asif Ali, which was huge for me and my husband. We got to meet him. He's so fucking nice. He's such a good dude, and he's so funny. One of my very good friends in the Charlotte comedy scene got to feature for him, Loika Jebi, and we were talking about it, and it's like watching a masterclass in comedy. We got to sit in the back and like listen to do his set and watch how he'd switch stuff up in between shows, because he did about 5 shows over like 3 days or so, which is pretty cool. I also got to host for Carter Anderson recently, another great dude. Also has a Filipino wife, so there's that. I also got to do stand-up in a lot of new places this year. I traveled, I think the furthest I traveled this year for comedy was like 4 hours or so, and I did a lot of shows in South Carolina, like a lot, deep into South Carolina. And I feel like it was a good year for me to expand my horizons a little bit and to meet new comics from other cities, but also to just, introduce myself to new audiences as well. And here are some didn't go as great this year for me, in my opinion. I didn't write new shit. That's number one. That's a lie. I wrote a new set about getting married and wedding planning and stuff like that, and it was fine. Like, I think it did well the few times I had performed it, but I also felt like it had a sort of limited shelf life in my mind. I'm sure I could do some tweaks where I could like still continue to play with it if I wanted to, but I kind of don't feel like it. And I also did a little bit of a new bit about irrational fears, but generally I didn't give enough time to go to mics this year and to play with these new bits of material. To be fair, my schedule was crazy this year. I got married, a lot of improv, a lot of things, work was crazy, but I could have made time. I also stopped posting and uploading comedy bits. I'd been consistently uploading chunks of my stand-up sets at the beginning of this year on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. But I fell off of I got busy, but I think I got a couple of hate comments from some faceless 12-year-olds. And granted, those videos got like 1,500 views, so I guess it's a fair trade to just get a bit of fat shaming or whatever. But I did get in my feelings about it, and I just wasn't in the mood to put out any new clips. Also, my performances slipped a little bit. I don't want to sound like a dick, but I can count on one hand how many times I feel like I've bombed in my career thus far, okay? Most of them were this year. And it was definitely instances where I got like tripped up in the middle of my set by something stupid. Maybe like I worded something weird. The audience didn't react the way I wanted them to. And then I just watched my confidence crumble in like real time. And obviously it happens. This happens to everybody. It's not a huge deal, but it is to me because funny enough, I don't spaz out often on stage. I'll spaz out in a boardroom giving a presentation, but not on stage. It is something that I definitely did not love this year. I think it's a combination of like exhaustion, overwhelm, and just frustration with myself. This year, I have a couple things I know I want to focus on. Number one, write new fucking stuff. I know I need to write new material. No excuses this year. I need to carve out time to write new material, read books on writing, and perform new material at open mics. Number two, I need to go to mics consistently. This is obviously easier said than done, but it is a necessity for getting better. It's not always enjoyable, but it is necessary. Also, I don't want to give myself a goal of like do X amount of shows this year because unlike my TBR, I don't have control over how many shows I get to do in a year. Show producers might wake up tomorrow and decide, you know what, let's book her like crazy this year. Or they might go, let's not book her ever again. Like I can control how many books I read in a year, but I can't control how many shows I do in a year. So let's hope that I get to do more shows this year, but if not, I will be content with doing as many shows as I am asked to do. All right, so that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I am still catching up on my uploads right now, so you're probably going to keep hearing me say sorry for being late. I really appreciate you being here. I'm so close to the end of VLOGMAS. It's like literally around the corner. It's going to be great. But I really do appreciate you being here. Thank you. Bye.